I want to migrate this application to standalone.
Okay, you'd like to migrate your Angular 19 timer application to standalone using the new control flow syntax and signal API. Is there anything specific you would like to know or discuss as you begin this process?
I'm going to run the Angular schematic mggenerate at angular/core:standalone to perform the migration to standalone mode. I paste the command to the terminal.
All right, you're going to paste the command into the terminal. After this, do you have any additional steps in mind?
After that, I'm going to run option 2 and option 3 to finish the entire process.
After pasting the command, you'll run option 2 and option 3 to complete the entire process. Is that correct?
Yes, I choose a dot to include the root directory.
You're going to choose a dot to include the root directory. After choosing the root directory, what would you do next?
Can you describe the change in this pipe?
You would like me to describe the change in this pipe. It looks like the pipe is called convert seconds to string, and it transforms a number into a string, representing the time in minutes and seconds. Is there anything else specific about the changes you'd like me to describe?
Yeah, the standalone colon force is removed. Do you know why?
You're noticing that the standalone colon forces have been removed. Do you want to know the reason for this change?
Yes.
The removal of standalone colon forces is part of the migration to standalone components in Angular. Standalone components don't need to be declared in an ng module, so the forces are no longer needed. Did you have any other questions?
Yes, in timer message component, import
you have a
ng
question.
happens.
You're observing that the ngif directive is used in the timer message component. What would you like to discuss about this?
It is in the imports array.
You're noting that the ngif is within the imports array. Is there a reason why you pointed this out?
Because it's not there before. Do you know why it's there now?
You're saying it wasn't there before, and you're wondering why it's there now. The ngif directive was added to the imports array because you're migrating to standalone components. This allows the component to use the ngif directive without having to be part of a module that declares or imports the directive. Does that clarify why it was added?
Yes, your explanation is correct. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any other questions, or would you like to discuss anything further regarding the migration to standalone components?
I'm going to stop the migration and commit my changes first. Thank you for your help.
Okay, you're going to stop the migration and commit your changes first. You're welcome, and please feel free to ask if you need help with anything else.
Hi, I want to continue to migrate my application to standalone mode.
Okay, you'd like to continue migrating your application to standalone mode. How can I assist you with that today?
I copied the Angular schematic and paste it to the terminal.
Okay,
and I choose option 2 to remove unnecessary ng module classes.
And after pasting the schematic into the terminal, you chose to remove unnecessary ng module classes. Is that correct?
Yes, and I entered dot to include the root directory.
Understood. And after that, you entered a dot to include the root directory. What is your next step?
Can you describe the output in the terminal?
Certainly, the terminal output shows a list of files being deleted. These are module files that are no longer needed as the application is being migrated to a standalone setup.
Well, app.module.ts still exists. Do you know why?
It looks like app, module, ts still exists because the schematic only removes module files that are not referenced or that are not part of the application entry point. The app.module, ts is the entry point, so it was not deleted.
Yeah, app.module is used in main.ts.
Yes, you're correct. The app module. TS is used in main. TS for bootstrapping the application, which is why it wasn't deleted. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
I'm going to run the schematic again and choose option 3, bootstrap the application using standalone APIs.
Okay, so you're going to run the schematic again. and this time choose option 3 to bootstrap the application using standalone APIs. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Can you describe the changes in main.ts?
Certainly, in main. TS, the code has been updated to use the bootstrap application function instead of platform browser dynamic. Migrate.bootstrap module. The app module is also no longer passed as an argument to bootstrap the application, but instead the root component is passed.
Yeah, and then the option uses import providers from to import browser module. Do you think this is redundant?
Yes, you are right. The import providers from browser module call is redundant since browser module is no longer required when using standalone components. You can remove that.
I want to restart the application to make sure it's working.
Okay, you'd like to restart the application to ensure it's working. Do you need any assistance with that?
Yeah, there's an error on app timer shell.
Okay, it looks like there's an error related to app timer shell. It seems that the app timer shell component is not a known element. It might be because it is not declared in any Angular modules or standalone components.
I think the error is in app component. So what do you suggest?
Based on the error and your code, you need to make the app timer shell component standalone or import it into the app component to resolve the error. Would you like me to help you with that?
I think you're right. I need to import timer shell component into the imports array.
Yes, that is correct. You need to import the timer shell component into the imports array of the app component. Is there anything else I can help with?
Let me see. The application is working now.
Great, the application is working now. Is there anything else you need help with?
The migration has completed. Thank you for your help.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. Have a great day.
Yep, thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, I want to migrate the application to use the new control flow syntax. Can you explain what the new control flow syntax is in Angular?
Sure, I can help with that. The new control flow syntax in Angular uses @if, @for, and switch blocks instead of the old ngIf, ngFor, and ng switch directives. This provides a more declarative and concise way to handle conditional rendering, iteration, and switching in your templates, which can improve the readability and maintainability of your Angular components. Do you have any other questions about it?
I copy the schematic and paste it to the terminal of my VS Code editor to run.
Okay, you copied the schematic and pasted it into the Versus Code terminal to run it. It looks like you are using the Angular CLI to generate code that will migrate the application to use the new control flow syntax. Do you want to ask me anything else?
No, it's okay. I entered dot to include the root directory and type yes to reformat the templates during the migration.
So it seems you have entered to include the root directory, and will type yes to reformat the templates during the migration. Is that correct?
Yes, and timer message component was updated. Can you describe the changes in the file?
Yes, the timer message component TS file was updated with the new control flow syntax. Instead of using ngIf, it now uses the @if block for conditional rendering based on the status input. Do you want me to describe any other changes?
The import array is empty now. Do you know why?
Sure, the imports array is empty because the new control flow syntax doesn't require importing any specific modules into the component. The new syntax is part of the Angular framework itself, and it's available in the template by default. Does that make sense?
Well, ngIf is no longer needed. Therefore, it is not imported in the component. It's not needed in the imports array. Therefore, the import array is empty.
Okay, so since ngIf is no longer needed, the component is not needed in the import array, therefore the imports array is empty. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. It
I'm
seems
going
that you have a good understanding.
I'm going to run the application.
Okay, you are going to run the application. It seems that you have a good understanding of the new control flow syntax. Is there anything else that I can help with?
No, the migration to the new control syntax has complete. I'm going to stop the stream now.
Okay, the migration to the new control flow syntax has completed, and you are going to stop the stream now. Let me know if you need anything else in the future.
Okay, thank you, bye-bye. I'm going to migrate the application to use the Signal API. First, I start from migrating the input decorators to Signal input.
Okay, so you're planning to migrate your Angular 19 timer application to use standalone components, the new control flow syntax, and the Signals API, starting by migrating the input decorators to Signal inputs. Is that correct?
Yes, I copy the Angular schematic ng generate at angular/core : Signal input migration and paste it to the terminal of my VS Code editor to run. I choose dot
You've
to include the root directory and yes to migrate as much as possible even if it may break my build.
understood. So you're choosing the current directory to include in the migration, and you're okay with it potentially breaking your build as long as it migrates as much as possible. Are you ready to run the command?
I ran the command and there are 4 problems currently.
You've run the migration command, and there are now 4 problems. Do you want to review them to try and fix them?
Yes, I have a timer display component file open, and I think the error is on line 24, the total seconds signal.
Okay, so you've opened the timer display component file, and you think the error is on line 24, where the total second signal is defined. Do you want to try to modify that line to fix the issue?
Yes, can you suggest the fix?
Okay, looking at the code, the issue is that the input signal is expecting a number, but initially it might be undefined. You can provide a default value of 0 using the input function like this. Read-only total seconds equals input less than number greater than 0. Do you want to try that?
No, I think I can put the initial value in the input function.
Sounds good. You want to put the initial value directly into the input function. Do you know how to do that, or would you like me to give you the syntax?
What initial value do you suggest?
You can set the initial value to 0 inside the input function to fix the type error. You should write it like this. Read-only total seconds equals input less than number greater than 0. Would you like to try this out?
Yeah, I fixed the problem. I'm going to fix the problem in timer button component.
Great, you fixed the issue in the timer display component, and you're now moving on to the timer button component to fix the problems there. Do you want to go through the issues one by one?
I think the error is on line 82, countdown seconds has the incorrect type.
Okay, you think the issue is on line 82 with the countdown second signal, which has the incorrect type. Do you want to fix it in the same way as before using a default value?
Yes, I'm going to give an initial value of 0.
All right, so you're going to provide an initial value of 0 to the countdown second signal. Do you want to go ahead and apply that change now?
I applied the change and the application is working.
You've applied the changes, and the application is now working. Great job. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
I think I'm okay now and I'm going to end the stream.
Sounds good. You've successfully migrated the app to use Signal inputs. Thanks for using this stream. Have a good one.
I'm going to migrate the output decorators to use the output function in this timer application.
Okay, you want to migrate the output decorators to use the output function in this timer application. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. And I'm going to copy the Angular schematic ng generate at angular/core : output migration to the terminal of my VS Code editor to run.
Okay, you are going to copy the schematic for the ng-generate angular/core output-migration command into your terminal in versus code. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I'm going to type dot to include the root directory.
I see. You will type a dot to include the root directory. Will you be running that command now?
I ran the command and the migration has already completed. Can you describe the changes in timer button component?
Okay, the command was run and the migration is complete. You would like me to describe the changes in the timer button component. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I can describe the changes. The @output decorator has been replaced with the output function, which is now used for status change and update remaining seconds.
Correct. I'm going to run the application again.
You are correct. So, you are going to run the application again. Should I expect more questions about this migration, or is there anything else I can help you with at this time?
The migration has completed and I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you.
All right, the migration is complete and you are going to end the stream now. Thank you for sharing your stream, and feel free to reach out if you need any further help.
This is the final step of my migration. I'm going to replace at viewchild decorators to viewchild function.
Okay, so you're in the final step of migrating your timer application, and you plan to replace the @viewchild decorators with the viewchild function. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm going to copy the Angular schematic ng-generate at angular/core signal query migration to the VS Code editor to run it.
So you are planning to use the Angular schematic to migrate your @viewchild decorators to signal queries, and after that, you will run the command in the versus code editor. Is that right?
Yes, I type dot to include the root directory and yes to migrate as much as possible, even if it may break my build.
All right, you've added the root directory and confirmed you want to migrate as much as possible, even if it may break your build. That sounds like a plan. Do you need any help to run the command?
Well, the migration caused 8 errors. Can you read the first error?
Certainly, the migration caused 8 errors. The first error says, argument of type element ref less than any greater than undefined is not assignable to parameter of type element ref less than HTML, button element greater than.
I'm going to fix it by using viewchild.required.
Okay, you're going to fix the error by using viewchild.required. Do you want me to explain what that does?
Yes, you can while I start fixing the code.
Okay, so while you're fixing the code, I can explain that viewchild.required is used when you are sure that the viewchild will be present in the template. It will throw an error if the element is not found, instead of returning undefined.
Yep, all the errors have been resolved. I'm going to stop the application and restart it to test.
Great, so it sounds like you've resolved all the errors by using viewchild.required A, and now you're going to stop the application and restart it to test the changes.
I think the application is running properly. The buttons have the right icons. The time decrements when I press the start button. When I press the pause button, the message is correct. The time doesn't decrement. When I press the stop button, the message is also correct, and the time reset to 15 minutes.
It seems like your application is running properly after the migration, and the buttons work as expected, but the timer only decrements when you press the start button. Also, the time resets to 15 minutes when you press the stop button. Is that a correct summary?
Yes, it is. I think I have finished the migration to use the modern Angular features. I'm going to end the stream now.
Excellent. It sounds like you've successfully completed the migration to use modern Angular features. I'm glad I could help, and I'll end the stream now.
Yep, thank you. Bye-bye.